and I slam on the brakes, and you can hear the ABS brakes going, and the guy drops in front of me. I was like, fuck, I thought I killed him. And he gets up, and it's the fucking guy that I just finished the portrait on.
Did you give him the portrait?
No, I said, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, I was supposed to do portraits of living dealers.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another epic episode of the Legendz Podcast. Yet another legend to add to the roster. He's a badass artist who paints and then he shoots his paintings with guns. He and I have worked on a few projects together already. I even made a short film about him, which went to Cannes Film Festival, believe it or not. Welcome, Viktor Mitic.
Hey.
I like your background. For the audio only, there are a lot of dope paintings in the background.
Yeah, that's my usual mess, my everyday mess. Gonna paint him and stack him up over there, and I don't even know what's behind there. There's probably
organized chaos.
Yep. There's things that I haven't seen in years back there.
You're a true artiste.
Hey.
You work with guns.
Yep.
I'm just gonna start flat out.
Flat out, right there. Okay.
A lot of this is the most, I think, intriguing thing that anyone who I've spoken about you to and as a subject, everyone has asked me, how did he start out? Why guns? And just, I guess let's track back to the beginning and then we'll get into what you're doing now. Yeah,
well, I started back in about 2007, 6 or 7. I saw some videos on YouTube where soldiers and villagers were entering monasteries and churches and shooting iconic images up with guns, spray painting, carving eyes out and stuff like that. Then I saw videos on, was it a video? No, it's just pictures, I think. Associated Press shared a bunch of pictures on the destruction of the Buddhas of Bamyan in Afghanistan. It's like a 1,000-year-old sculpture that was blown up by the Afghanis for some unknown reason. Why would you go and smash up a piece of art that old? But they had a reason. I found it pretty fascinating. I saw that as almost like some extreme form of graffiti, and kind of try replicating the effect on canvas. That's the only thing that I can actually do. So I would paint these flat surfaces, acrylics on canvas. I would add gold leaf, try to make it as I was saying, like medieval as possible at the beginning. So gold halos, but really flat, almost like no perspective at all. And then I would take it to a gun range and shoot them up, shoot the outline, shoot the important parts, almost creating this almost like a connected dot effect. It was pretty cool, pretty loud, and fascinating for me at that time.
How did you even know how to operate guns? You were in the military, right?
Yeah, for a year. Yeah, I was there for a year.
For a year.
I know. Yeah, it was mandatory, and had to serve that year. But that was it. Like I learned how to use that when I was 18. Then years went by. I haven't touched a gun. I haven't seen anything at all like that.
This was for former Yugoslavia, right?
Yeah.
So then, how did you get into art then? Because you combined the two, your knowledge with weapons.
Well, the art was before, right? Like this started way before, and the army was just an accident, or that was something that kind of had to be done. It was like do that or 10 years in prison. It's like, yeah, I'll do a year in the army, So they taught us all these things, like I guess shooting, getting up early 4 a.m. and then running, and so survived my year and went back to art. So
did you went to school for art, or it just came naturally to you?
Well, I was kind of doing drawings and paintings all my life, right? Like since I was a kid. It was a family tradition. My mother used to take me to university because she studied art also. So she took me to university when I was like 5 years old. I was doing nude sketches and stuff like that. And so it kind of continued on since my very early ages, very early beginnings.
How would you describe your style? Is it like, I would say to some people I kind of say pop art, but not all of it's really pop art. How would you kind of describe it, and how did it kind of evolve? Because there are a few different styles, but it's very distinctive that it's you.
Yeah. Well, I did what I do is it's almost like organic for me. I do one type of painting and then try like going the other way a little bit, and if I like it, I kind of continue. So it's all connected, whatever I've done before, right? did portraiture. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a bunch of portraits that I did of art dealers back in 2009, I think, or 10.
Oh yeah, you're a little bit of a marketing man too.
Yeah, but that was, the publisher also did a lot of there, and yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, you did about, was it 36 portraits of Toronto's most distinctive art dealers?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that was a.
So they had no choice; they had to buy them. No.
Well, they became distinctive. Some of
Yeah.
them, I didn't have a clue like who most of them are. Like I knew a few of them, but not all of them. And that was those names were given to me by Gary Michael Dalt, who's a writer and an art critic, and he kind of helped me out with the choice, because there was I think 40 or 50. I didn't miss too many. Some of them said no outright, but they regretted it later, because it was a very cool show. I had 36 of them, 36 dealers on gallery walls. Galleries usually have artists work on the walls. I had them up, spaced that up, and they look pretty cool.
Yeah, no, they were very dope.
Yeah.
How do you come up with your series of paintings? Because you tend to have multiple different types of series, one after another.
See, with the bullet paintings, I do one, and then I say, this is interesting. So there's an effect. I didn't know what the hell I'm doing, right? I was shooting a piece of canvas, and didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I know there was I felt that it should be done. So I go for the next one. Then I discover these beautiful concentric circles. Then I said, okay, what kind of ammunition I'm going to be using? So I was searching for type of ammunition and type of gun that would produce effect that I want on canvas. And that took years. So by the time you look at that, you see oh, wow, there's 100 paintings there. So that's the style. That's a series right there, right?
Yeah.
And then you could continue expanding. So it's like a never-ending game. It's pretty hard to explain how and why and where. There's no end. Even now, I've been doing sculptures for a number of years, but a couple of weeks ago, I went and did a bullet painting again, because it had to be done.
And I was actually going to ask you, so how do you choose the type of ammunition? Because you use very different types. For example, you did a painting of John Lennon, and you chose the same gun, which unfortunately he was shot with.
Yeah, well, that was.
It had a strong message behind it.
But that was it, because he was shot by a guy in New York using 38 special, and I thought, okay, let me get this image back. Let me see if I can, create his image from the moment of his death by using the same tool that killed him. And I used 38 special. It was a cool idea. I don't know. I mean, was it successful? I think it was a pretty striking portrait that I've done. And the message there too, right?
You've gotten mixed messages, mixed reactions, from your work. And a lot of people don't get that, what you're trying to do. What would you say what are you trying to bring across? Because a lot of people think, we've spoken about this and we even filmed about it, and you say that you're not pro gun. Well, is that the right way to say it?
Yeah.
So what?
I don't really care. I don't care about these guns. You're right. That's, for me, that's a tool. It's a tool, for me to create a piece of art. At the same time, it's a cool message. I mean, you can use those guns to kill somebody or destroy, or you can use them to create something. I think I managed to get this fine balance right there. Right.
Yeah, because your main message is create art, not war.
Yeah.
So what came behind that? How did you come up with that?
You came up with that. Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. I swear, didn't you have a book or something called that before prior to me?
Yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, it was called Art or War. Art or War. Yeah, it was a collection of 50-something paintings that I've done using tools of destruction to create iconic images.
Yeah.
And that was a set of religious icons, past presidents, iconic images, some of my own, specific designs, and things that needed to be shot and put in a book format. One of the ones that I actually liked the most would be a painting that did of the McDonald character.
Oh yeah, Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, that was for sure. That was the scariest character ever. I think kids are scared of this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was scared of that thing.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, like they used to have Ronald McDonald at like each McDonald's in a costume, and it was terrifying because I used to be scared of clowns. So I just never understood how could a kid be super excited to see a terrifying figure like that.
Yeah, and it's not like a little guy. It's like a big thing. It's a big giant, oversized, clown. It's almost like that movie It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's one of the characters I've done. Like that did replica version of Picasso's Guernica, which is about exactly the same size, 12 feet by 25 and a half feet long. And I spent maybe like 10,000 rounds of ammunition creating that, like out in the field somewhere in the mountains.
So how do you get your inspiration? Like, how do you pick your next topic?
Let's say the last one. Last one was some news that I've seen from Toronto, and it was two guys, going after a crowd with the chainsaws. I don't know if you've seen that.
So I read what you sent me, and it didn't really clarify. Why were they actually there with
I don't know,
chainsaws?
but they look so cool. They look great. They look like they should be in the movie. Somebody should cast these guys because they're like dead serious. It was perfect. When I saw it, like, wow, this is a painting. So I got those two guys. From the video footage that was supplied by who knows who, and I put them on canvas, took him to a range, shot him up. So I spent like a good month and a half painting those things. It's a big painting. It's like 6 feet by 18 feet long, right?
Holy wow, yeah. That's insane. All right.
Yeah. So something pops up. I mean, you see it in the media, or you see something you like, or you react to somebody, or something, and then painting comes out of that. That's the way I speak, right?
For one thing that we were filming together, you did it just on the spot. You actually created Batman. It was a giant painting.
Oh yeah.
And you just painted over one of your pre-existing paintings. So you don't talk about that. Like, do you not get attached to the work?
I do get attached to the work that is like 100% done and it's taken away from me. Like if I don't see it, then it's then it's done. But if it's here and I'm ready to like move something and shift it, I'll do it, no problem. So there's
because I think that painting itself, that canvas, I think you said you painted over it 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah. But that time, like when we did the filming, that's when it stopped. Like I really liked the final effect of it.
Yeah,
it was cool. It's like 12 by 12 feet, right? Like big canvas.
What are your craziest stories? I know you've got a few, but we're all characters. You especially. Yeah. You've had some wild stories, I know. Especially, you've even had some in front of the White House.
Yeah. Well, I had the school bus that was all shot up. Like got a bunch of guys. I bought the school bus, big yellow school bus with a bunch of seats in there. Bought it from a guy, and I took it to a field. Brought a bunch of people. They were into guns to shoot it up and created, something that I wanted to do, like to modify. They said they were going to modify it for me. What they were into guns, but I was creating an image, and that was totally against violence, and I don't think I would have been able to do anything like that without knowing guys like that. So what I'm trying to say is, I created that piece, and they took it to Washington, D.C. Ended up in front of White House, in front of various famous monuments over there. People were stopping us, freaking out, thinking because we forgot. I forgot totally to put any signs on the side of the bus or the tow truck saying that this is an art piece, not like a massacre.
Right.
So people were freaking out, photographing it. It's like, wow, when because we look fresh. It was very fresh, freshly shot up on a tow truck, right? And so they were freaked out. But like seconds after I tell them, well, it's an art piece. So like, well, very cool. Oh, what kind of calibers did you use? What kind of guns did you use? So it was like immediate switch from like being horrified into, wow, this is so cool.
You use like 10,000 rounds of ammunition or something like that.
Yeah. And the filmmaker that was in the almost got shot in the process because guys were like, it's almost like a shark feeding frenzy. It's like first 2 minutes it was organized, like guys were shooting, standing behind the line far from the bus. But then they started getting cocky, and one by one started getting closer and closer, and started circling around the bus and shooting it. One guy went on top of it, one was inside. It was crazy. At one point, like, the filmmaker was inside setting up a camera because he wanted to take a shot of the windows blowing out, and you could hear pop, 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 and he was so pissed. He was so pissed.
I would be too.
Fucking wait until I'm out of the bus. And so he was filming with a long lens from far away after that for the rest of the filming.
I can
and
imagine.
he ended up like being like strip search and stuff like that because he was when he finished that, he was on his way to Turkey, so they smelled like gunpowder on him. So,
No way. You're joking. Wow. That's crazy. Did he just show the footage?
That would be okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that piece inspired because there was a shooting of a school in, I think it was Afghanistan at the time?
No, there was actually somebody that shot in Toronto.
It was a shooting in Toronto.
Yeah. And then I did that. I did another piece that was like a candy, those candy dispenser full of bullets. So I was, did a piece like that too, also for kids feeding empty shells.
Yeah. I was just going to say, did anyone from the White House ever come out?
Or they were like far. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, guards were there like looking. Yeah, I didn't see Obama.
Damn.
I know. What else happened? That was crazy. I almost ran over a dealer, one of those dealers. I don't know
like an art dealer?
Yeah, did I tell you that one?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I finished this guy's portrait. If I remember the name, I'll tell you. I can't remember. So, okay, it's done. So leave it on the back porch. It's like, it's done. I'm not going to touch it anymore because I'm going to ruin it. Because it was a gold surface that I was painting, a gold surface with Japanese ink and acrylic. So there was like, very tricky because these portraits are all kind of melty, and if you overdo it, it just runs off and then you got to start all over again. That's hours and hours, right? So I found this piece was finished, done. Okay, I'm out of here. I let it dry, and I packed my car with garbage. I was going to take some garbage to the dump. And driving close to on King Street West, close to a lake shore, there was a tiny bridge connected. That bridge is gone now. But there was a tiny bridge connecting Lakeshore to King West. I go in there, a car goes one way, and I start going the other way. Right in the middle of the bridge, I see these two guys on a bicycle, and the guy closest to me just does a U-turn without like looking at all. And I slam on the brakes, and you can hear the ABS brakes going, and the guy drops in front of me. I was like, fuck, I thought I killed him. And he gets up, and it's the fucking guy that I just finished the portrait of.
Did you give him the portrait?
No, I said, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, I was supposed to do portraits of living dealers. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He was white, but I don't think he even knew what I was talking about.
No?
No, he was in shock. He was almost got killed, right?
Oh my God. Did you show him the painting afterwards?
I never actually got to talk to him to that. Like, he's been at the show. There was so many people. I've never actually managed to talk to him about it.
I don't know. Well, at least you saw he's still alive, so it fits with the living art
But
dealer.
the second that sec was like, fuck, I just killed a dealer. Like, wow, man.
No, I killed a person. I killed a dealer. I just did a painting on him.
I realized when he got up, I realized there was a dealer. Right?
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So that was one of the stories.
What would you say was your most provocative piece
Provocative.
so far?
I don't know. I don't see this as being provocative. Like, do you?
I don't think so personally, but I don't think a lot of people are accustomed to it because you have something that's actually authentic, very different. I haven't seen any of your type of work anywhere else.
Yeah, it's pretty recognizable. It's like a totally different language, right? That they're created over the years.
So how do you keep progressing and evolving in your work?
I feel like I'm always behind. That's the story.
What?
Like this, like trying to catch up with what I have to do. Right? So there's always something that I'm just like, oh yeah, but I can do all these little steps until I get to that point when I'm actually doing it. And by the time I get there, it's already kind of shifted to one side or the other.
It's formed into a completely different beast.
Yeah.
How do you know though? How do you know a piece is finished?
How do I know it's finished?
Yeah. Or how do you know when to let go?
That's a tricky part. Like, how? Usually people take it away from me. So it's okay. I want to buy this. Okay, take it. I don't want to see it anymore. And I know I want to do like spend more time on it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say in with the freestanding ones, that's kind of hard. Like if I'm using like steel or gold and these high-end paints, it's done in a very, very precise way. So I know when I'm done with the precision and polishing, then the piece is finished.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about the production, but like up here is a different story.
What's
I
up
just
there?
shot some of them up. Right? Like the aluminum sculptures.
Did you?
Yeah. There's one is in a hotel in Marriott Hotel.
No
And
way.
like it's a bunch
Which
of
one?
colorful pieces.
In Toronto or?
Yeah. Markham.
It's in Markham.
Yeah.
The Marriott in Markham. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you go to shoot your paintings? Where do you go to shoot up the sculptures? Because you've been banned from Toronto shooting ranges, right?
Yeah, all of them. Yep.
All of them?
And Ontario, I think maybe there's one. Maybe I didn't ask because usually I do a session. There's like, okay, that's it. Time out. See you later. Like one of them up in Stouffville. I was there with like a film crew and the news media. There's like 20 people with me, and they just kicked us all out with what I was doing. This stuff like that happens all the time. Like usually once they start, they can't really approach you, tell you anything because you're in a firing range. So I keep on firing, and I hear them screaming over there like, "You gotta stop! I just keep on doing it until I'm done. Take my stuff up and get out of there because I know this is it. It's not happening again. So that's Canada. States is different. States, you go in there with a driver's license, they give you like ammo, like that much ammo. If you want whatever what kind of gun, any guns available, no problem. Just shoot them up and it's much easier.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But why are they so afraid of you shooting a painting in a
I don't
gun range?
know. They have like all these targets like with people, right? That's so weird. Yeah. I don't know. It's unusual because like why is it doing this? There's something behind this. Who knows?
Is it because you're so close to the paintings and the other people are behind? Like, are there other people shooting at the same time?
No, I know what I'm doing. Like I did like, I don't know, like 2 million rounds of ammo for so far, maybe more, probably more. 2 million was the news from like 3 years ago.
You've done over 2 million rounds of ammo you've shot? Wow. Okay. Guys, beware.
It's for art. Yeah.
Don't mess with him if you see.
A good shot now. Yeah.
If you see Victor on the streets, don't mess with him while he's driving or while he's walking.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So that was it. So states much easier. So I did a bunch of things in Arizona, in Florida, in New York State. So that was my main places. I know that where I can go and take my pieces with no problem at all.
Nice. And you do some of it outside, right?
Yeah. But that was like a couple of them that I did outside because I couldn't find anywhere else to do it. Because one of them was that version of Picasso's Guernica, which is 25 feet long, 25 feet by 12 and a half. So there's no gun range in Canada. Probably they don't have ceilings that high. Mm-hmm. So I had to find a farm and it was somewhere close to Blue Mountain, somebody's property. I stretched it up. It was hanging out there, and I shot it. It was done in one day. Didn't
you do one series? Is it called like Dancing in the Rain?
Rain Dance.
Rain Dance.
Yeah. That was just a name given by one of the authors that was contributed to a book. There was a book that was published on the type of work.
Yeah.
It was just a collection of oil paintings on canvas that I've done outside when it rained. So it was.
Did you intend to do it while it was like you were painting while it was raining? So it created this really cool texture on the canvas. Was that the intention, or was that by accident?
Not at all. It was total accident that I tried to recreate, and I couldn't really recreate it in a studio setting or outside using a water hose. It was basically I painted something outside. Went for lunch. It rained. I came back. It's like, shit, this is ruined. This is all fucked up now. I got to, throw it in the garage. The next day, I checked it out a little closer. I wasn't pissed off anymore. I was like, whoa, these are actually very interesting effects. So I started replicating that. I trying to replicate it, and I couldn't get it. I went up to the top of the roof. I hosed the paintings down. Didn't really get the same thing. I thought maybe the water droplets, when they come down and hit the canvas, they'll bounce off and do something, to the pigments and the mediums, but nope, it didn't really matter. So I waited for the rain, and I got it again. So I did maybe like 100 paintings, maybe more, over the period of like 5-6 years.
I was gonna say, how long did that take you though? Because you
It
had
takes
to
a
wait
long time because
for
you're waiting for the
every
damn
time
rain,
it rained.
right? So everybody else hides. I'm out there. Got a pneumonia at one point.
What?
Remember that time when they were busting all these people, the G20 protesters?
Yeah.
It was giant rain. I did my best painting right there.
You're
They were like
joking.
2 blocks away from me getting busted. I was like outside.
Wow.
It was cool. So,
When did you realize you had your own style? Were you looking to create your own style, or does it just kind of happen with practice?
It happens with practice. It happens. It's called, like a friend of mine says, like the best. What is it? The most important part in art is cropping. So you gotta find that like as part of your artwork that is actually work well, and then be able to actually chop it up and keep it as a whole. That takes a year.
It's actually a very good a piece of advice, because I do similar. That's how I kind of got better at photography and even videography. Is I started noticing like, oh, this looks better as this kind of angle if I literally cropped in, and then I started learning my angles and the frame size, and then I started working more with that.
That's it, and I think that you can transfer that to every aspect of your life, probably cropping everything, right?
Yeah.
Your friends and family.
crop all the terrible, crop all the haters out.
All the haters out. See, yeah. So that's the advice if I have any. I'm still working. I mean, I'm not 90 yet, but when I get there, I'll probably know more. They'll be probably like, shit me, why did I crop all this stuff? Like, all the good parts are gone.
But it's interesting because, like, for someone told me once, like, have you noticed that if you look back at your work, basically from even 6 months ago, you're not impressed. You're like, I can do this, and this, and this better. So I don't know. For me, when I look back at my work I've done a year ago, I'm like, it's okay, but I can do this, and this now, and just keep trying to evolve.
Yeah. And probably like remember like when you were like 15, 16, and when you did something, it's like, wow, this is awesome. And then you keep in the drawer, and like 5 years later, like, fuck,
this is shit.
Burn it quickly.
Burn it, yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of those.
Yeah. Well, there's another one. Remember, I don't know if you remember that I had a sculpture outside the studio where I would actually burn artwork. So it was like the artwork incinerator called the Book of Dreams, for some pieces that were not supposed to exist. So something that wasn't successful, nobody wanted to buy it. I didn't want to sell it, or whatever reason that is. I would just take it there, put a camera, and film it burning, and that way giving it a new life, giving it a digital life. So it becomes from a physical object, goes into this digital.
It's actually super dope the way acrylic reacts to fire. We filmed one of those paintings being slowly burnt to ashes. It's pretty
cool about that, the whole feeling of burning, right?
Yeah. We even shot a music video in your studio, which has like over 40 million views.
No way.
Yeah.
40 million?
Yeah. Remember Azzy's music video?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it has 40 million views now. And there's like the fire in the background, and you and I were standing on each side of them while they were like dancing, and we were just spraying the lighter fluid into the fire to make the flames go.
That's pretty safe. That was like really safe, like being close to that. I remember that.
Yeah. It was good times. Good times.
It was funny. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we covered it, most of it. Where can people find you? Socials.
Where?
Yeah.
You got my link?
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
Yeah.
It's at Viktor Mitic. And also his website. You can check out some of his work. And if you want to buy anything as well, you can contact him.
Buy something.
Buy something.
Please. Yeah. But, you know what? Like, it's interesting because right now people buying art to decorate these Zoom rooms.
Really?
Yeah. It's very, very interesting. Like all my art friends that I know, they're telling me, wow, sales are going up. Because people want a nice piece of art behind them. When they talk.
Not a bad show. Nice. All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. You guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Legendz Podcast. And thanks for listening, and look forward to the next one.
Thanks for inviting me.